Watch this, dude.
This is so silly.
I got a straight. Dude, that's their carry.
Oh my god.
Eventually, he's just done with my bullshit. Hello, friends. It's me and Big D, and we're looking at one of my replays where I fed. And this week, Donnie's going to be coaching me. And sure, we're definitely going to be able to find some stuff in this replay because I basically was feeding off cooldown. So I'm sure we'll see some good stuff.
Yeah, the thing about coaching is that obviously I'm much lower MMR than Jenkins, but when Jenkins is playing like a herald, even I can give him advice, right? That's the thing, because you vary from game to game how you actually play, and on average, you average out to like a 7K player, so you're playing like a 9K a bunch, 8K a bunch, but then sometimes you play like a 1K player, and this probably is one of those games, so we're going to look at that.
So any heralds out there can definitely give their input in the comments below, as long as you're not Herald 1, because this is definitely
Herald 2 and above.
Herald 2 and above. Leave a comment below.
When did you pick the hero? 7th?
He countered me.
Okay. So you picked it mostly against the Bat Rider, just because.
Yeah, I saw Bat and I saw Pango. I saw Bat, Pango, and AA. So Legion can purge the Ancient Apparition Ice, and he can purge the Bat Fire, or the Bat Napalm, and then also you can dual Pango. So I saw 3 heroes that it's really good against, and I think even against Monkey in this game, it's still a good hero. I think I just really fucked up this game. And I do want to say this is the potential teammate blaming going on here, but I did say to my Tiny, I said, hey, if I want to cut the creep wave top, I can cut at level 1 because I'm against Monkey if you want to try lane bot. And he said, let's play top. So I tried to play this lane, and in retrospect, like I said, for a lot of my games, I kind of go through and I try to figure out why I lost them. If I were to do this game again, I would just cut from level 1 because it made it a lot harder to not do that when the Ancient Apparition gets some levels.
One thing I would say is that, like, if we go back to this trade, it just seems like you're playing Legion Commander as if you were expecting your Tiny to be here, but he's obviously not because he's getting the... I would say that this trade is good if your Tiny's here. You probably either kill the Monkey or you kill the AA, depending on who you go on, but you started the trade like maybe 10 seconds too early, and so you ended up just taking like an entire health bar worth while your Tiny is like running over here, so you have to use yourself for no reason.
Yeah, I very much so underestimated the Monkey's damage because I thought that without the Jingu that he would be kind of like paper and he'd have to turn and run away from me. But I totally underestimated it. And this is what I said, like when I say I'm a very aggressive player, I assumed that he would essentially pussy out, and that was just wrong. So, and you can see here, this is when I go to cut the second wave, but I'm still level 1. This is equivalent to me doing it at level 1. It's just I was forced to do it by playing the lane, except now I have no resources.
Right.
So this is like a thousand times harder, yet equivalent to doing it at level 1, just with less resources. It's like the same game, but fucking way harder.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it does kind of come back to the fact that you took those 2 trades, because it was basically 2 trades in a row that you took when your Tiny was doing something else. So like you took the first trade when he was getting the outpost, and then you took the second trade when he was like, I don't know if he was like blocking the small camp with his body or something like that, but it was just kind of unfortunate timing that both times you decided to trade on the minimap, your Tiny was way too far away to actually help you.
Yeah.
I agree that in this lane, you just play mega aggressive on the Monkey King at level 1 as a Legion Commander, but you're in
without his Jingu.
Yeah, you're in a 2v1 essentially because Tiny is just like AFK.
Which is fine because I had that information. It's not like a good excuse to say, what is he doing? Because I knew in the game that he was there. I was just playing insanely aggressive because I don't know, I'm a dickhead.
Right. My question for you is why, after those 2 trades, you decided to actually just cut the wave, and why not just drag it?
That's another really good question, actually. I had that thought after the game too, where I have seen a lot of these wave cutters. I guess my only response to that is something I need to incorporate more into my gameplay. It's that I always get debated on the wave cutters to continue cutting because I feel like they can do it. Like if I'm, let's say, Puck or Pudge or some hero that's not excellent at cutting the wave, then I will drag it the moment I see the support come over.
Right.
But I definitely struggle making that decision when I'm Axe or when I'm Legion Commander, when I'm these heroes that can actually kill the wave, because I feel like, oh, there's got to be something that I can do to just kill the wave right here. But sometimes you can. I've watched like mind control replays, and sometimes he'll be a wave cutter, he'll be Axe, and the supports just force him to drag the wave, and he does, and it's fine because he doesn't feed.
Right.
But for me, it's like, I suppose a little bit of greed, but it's just something I need to think about. It's something I need to incorporate more. So I'm glad you asked that question, because that is something that I've thought about that before. I watched Mind Control do that, and I was like, man, why don't I? It's only on the wave cutters that I struggle. Watch this, dude.
So silly.
I got a streak. Dude, that's their carry.
Oh my god.
Eventually, he's just done with my bullshit.
That's actually such a good play, though. If the carry comes and does that, it's amazing. If it's the AA, it's like a fucking bad play, in my opinion.
The thing is, I have the resources to do it now. I have the Windlace, and I knew that he didn't have boots, so I felt like I could do that. Also, the difference is cutting at the tier 3 is a lot easier than cutting at the tier 2, because at the tier 2 you're just surrounded by places people can TP, and they're not running far away from their lanes to come get you. If they're coming to get me here, then everybody's leaving their lanes to do that. Whereas at this point I was like in space creation mode. But the thing is, like, I should be level 5 right now, or 6 even, in my opinion, and I should be like uncontestable in my cutting. I should be the.
I kind of feel like it almost all comes back to those 2 trades where your Tiny was just not with you, because like I completely agree that in this game, based on these other lanes, based on the heroes that you're against, like, you have the ability, because you can just choose to not lane against Monkey King, and Ancient Apparition shouldn't really be able to contest you. That if you are full HP, full mana, and you have like full resources, there's actually no reason that the A can contest you. And so you do either force Bat to come or not. But because you took those 2 bad trades, then you end up in the situation where you're kind of like still trying to play as if you were like doing the perfect decisions to start out, but you don't have the resources to do it. And it's like almost kind of snowballing from there, because if you know how like there's some lanes where you can win the lane unless you die, and then if you die suddenly, like, you can't
play it anymore.
Right, you have to set your timing back like 2 levels or something like that before you can play aggressively again. And I think that's kind of what you did here, is like you set yourself back to where maybe the way that you've been playing this, you needed to be like level 3 or level 4 to do it instead of level 1 or level 2.
Yeah, exactly.
And the way to get that would be to like drag in between your towers, but instead you've been trying to like salvage essentially and just like outplay a situation where you like kind of can't really outplay it because of how it's gone so far. Would you ever consider like not coming back up here and just saying, hey Tiny, like, offlane is now yours, and then you just like jungle to level 6 so that you can actually like go lock down somebody and work to your team to get kills?
Yeah, I would definitely. It's just that I felt like I could still cut, because this shit.
So many courier kills, man. What the fuck?
With Boots Windlace, I definitely felt like. Well, okay, maybe at this point I was in.
You're in meme mode right now.
Yeah, I was in mode space crate. I was like, okay, I knew my OD and my troll were farming. I was keeping an eye on their resources, and I was seeing that they were doing really well in their lanes, and that I was making a lot of space. I think, I would ideally, going back, I wish that this just happened in the first place, because I think I could be doing the exact same space creation, except I could be huge.
Right.
But I am okay with at least the last few minutes of what's been happening. And that just goes to show what I could have done with levels in this game. In that, even though I'm like 3 levels behind the Monkey King, I can still make all of this space for my team. Like, look at the gold lead mounting.
Right.
3K gold lead.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I also just think that one thing that I've noticed from watching you play is that sometimes you get a little bit too addicted to the space creating mentality, because what that does is it's almost like the support mentality that a lot of people have, where they're like,
It's like unnecessary at a point.
if I
Is
support my carry, then I don't have to do any more work because they'll do all the work. And I kind of feel like you're almost putting all of the responsibility on your teammates now, which it's working. Obviously, it's better in Immortal, where people will take advantage of the space and take advantage of the farm, which your teammates clearly are. But at the same time, you're almost removing yourself from having any control of the game as it goes along, right?
That's true. That's definitely true.
Which never feels good to do in a pub, just because like sometimes your troll is going to make a mistake or buy the wrong item, and you kind of wish that you were able to be like, hey, I can just duel this guy and kill them.
That did happen this game, actually. Neither core went BKB, and
Yep.
Tiny was Tiny's a very good player. He's a carry player, and he gave the roll up because the guy was refusing to not pick troll.
Sure.
Tiny was really flaming them. He's like, "You guys didn't build BKB. We're losing this game." So you're right. You're definitely right. If I was bigger, I could have. That wouldn't have mattered because my impact would have been enough to carry.
Right.
I also looking at this. I'm also looking at this, and I think, if you look at the matchups, it's like Troll versus Pango, and then OD versus Void Spirit. I don't think I needed to make space for them at this point.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. Like, who would you say? I mean, you have like basically two jobs, right? It's dispel the lasso and then duel either Pango or Void Spirit, basically every fight, right?
Yep.
I don't know. Would you say that you guys really have any outstanding issues in this game? As long as
No, I think this game. This is one of the reasons that I was hesitant to talk about this replay, just because I felt like we had won at the draft, and it was just a total disaster. Like eventually, OD gave up. He was kind of like pseudo griefing, but naturally this stuff is of course going to happen. Going back, when this happens, like this is why individually you need to have a higher impact as a player.
I also kind of feel like sometimes people create issues for themselves out of nowhere, like, and that's almost what you've done in this game. Like, this is still going okay, I would say. Like 4K gold ahead, you even have 20
Dude,
dual
but
damage.
imagine if I wasn't feeding though.
True.
Imagine how insane this game would be.
It'd probably be like almost over at this point. The other team would be giving up. But what I mean to say
this was a free win. This was a free win, and I threw it, I think.
Exactly. That's kind of the point, is that sometimes you get into these games where like all you have to do is just play status quo. You don't have to outplay anybody. You don't have to do crazy shit. All you have to do is just like do a normal game, and your hero picks will carry you.
At a point for sure. Like I think there's a period where I can cut, and then like the moment, let's say like the bat starts leaving his lane or the void starts leaving his lane, then I no longer need to do that because it's too risky. And if I give my cores like 2 to 3 minutes of space, they're fine with that. The problem with this game is I did for like 11 minutes.
Right.
So I did it for like 7 minutes too many.
Right.
And I did stop at a point. I'm running around with my team and just playing regular Dota now.
Right.
But Jesus Christ, did it hurt my game. I would love to have just been stacking and jungling or something like that.
Right. And that's what I mean, is like sometimes you like almost interpret the game as harder than it actually is because your lane was difficult. After the couple trades, all of a sudden your lane is hard, and so then you kind of feel like, oh shit, like this game is actually kind of hard and I need to do all this crazy shit, when in reality all you really had to do is just like, okay, Monkey King can free farm as long as I get some levels, and then we can just play 5v5 Dota and we win because our heroes are just better against theirs.
Yeah. It's like those games where the play is just a 5-man and you literally you're never going to lose. And then people split up and get picked off. And it's like, if we just stayed together, we'd get less farm, but we'd have a 100% chance to win this game.
Right.
That happens so frequently.
Or the games where it's like you're against a hard lane and all you have to do is just not completely feed.
Yeah.
And just get a little bit, and then the game will be fine. But people are always trying to like outplay these sick matchups that, like, even if you put Miracle in the game, if he was trying to outlane these people who have just significantly better heroes against him, he would feed. And it's just like, it has nothing to do with mechanics. It's literally just like
right. Yeah.
The matchup is screwing you over. Okay, so double damage your troll gets gone on. This is just going to be like a slowly one at a time coming in.
Oh, I thought I could get the lasso off of him, but he was just out of range.
You guys kill the bat.
Oh, I almost got him.
You're trying to make all these sick outplays, and it's just missing.
Yeah, we just chain feed into
Yeah.
them.
I mean, that's just one of those reactionary fights. They kill one of your important heroes to start the fight. You guys come in to try and
Should have
save.
just let him die. We had no vision there. Like
Yeah.
there's no good reason to fight there. We have vision everywhere else on the map.
Yep.
And we fight in the one place that we have no vision into their high ground. That's just stupid. I mean, I think it's just a mentality thing. Like we don't want to give up our area because we feel like we can fight. But we already made the mistake of leaving the area and letting the enemy team access it.
Mhm.
So we needed to just play top. Like just because you can fight the enemy team under good or decent circumstances doesn't mean you can fight them under terrible ones.
Right.
And we're putting ourselves into terrible ones, expecting that it's like the red camps, orange camps, green camps concept, except with team fights.
Right.
Like we were taking red team fights instead of taking we could take orange ones, we could take green ones, we couldn't take red ones, and we were trying to take red ones. Because I think there are games where you can just TP in one by one and they actually can't fight you because you're so strong. And we're almost there, but we're not there in this game because I fed. And I think if I didn't feed, we actually could take the red fights. Or maybe the better terminology is that no fights would be red to us. They would all be fine. We just take any fight. Because I think there are Dota games like that where like all you need to do is fight the enemy team and you're going to win. But this was almost one of them.
Sometimes you get into these games where it's like you get a little bit behind, and then all you actually have to do is just to kind of reset and maybe play safe for like 3 or 4 minutes, and then you're fine again. But if you're behind and you keep taking like these behind fights over and over, then it just gets more and more behind instead of like stabilizing and then going forward with aggressive play again.
Right. We definitely needed a reset in this game.
Cool. Well, I think that's probably good. I really feel like essentially what we kind of discovered is that it's basically just like an attitude shift, like recognizing when your timing is based on like just being adaptable. Like if you make a mistake, like the bad trade early on, then just kind of reset your timing to like a little bit later than you would like to be able to play.
Yeah.
And I think most people probably do this. They have a set idea of how the game is going to go, and then it doesn't quite go that way, and then they just don't make the adjustment to like play a slightly worse game than they're used to playing or something like that.
Right. This was definitely one of those games.
Yeah. But I mean, the fact that we're seeing a top 100 game where this same type of thing is happening should be a very important thing for people that are watching this video to understand. It's like, you guys are doing this, Jenkins is doing this, Sumail is doing this, but Sumail is doing it way, way less. Jenkins is doing it way, way less. And if you can do it way, way less and just like understand that you can play from behind, you can play from a couple of mistakes and come back into the game. You just have to change your approach slightly and maybe change your itemization, change how you're playing or where you're playing with your teammates slightly. And you can recover from a lot of mistakes.
I always hate that attitude that like, oh, this only happens in 3K bracket. This only happens in 4K bracket. If I was an Immortal bracket, I'd be so good because I'd support my team and they'd care. The same shit happens, man. It happens in Immortal. Yeah. It's the exact same shit.
All right, guys. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Is Jenkins secretly a Herald account buyer based on his play in this game? Or is he a human who sometimes makes mistakes? Let us know. We'll see you in another video.